Alright, greetings and welcome back, gentles and ladiesmen. So before we go any further, we're gonna winch up that bridge there to give us an incline. And we have a supercharge here, so I bet you can guess what we're gonna do with this. As you can see, there's an upper level, so I guess, like I was starting to get into it by the end of this episode, or last episode rather. This is the finale, it should be, by the way. At the very least, we're gonna be fighting the final boss. And spoiler alert, it's Nasty Nork. No, at the end it turns out that it was Dr. Wily the whole time. Actually, no, it's just Nasty Nork. But I can't believe I've managed to fuck up whatever it is I just did, but I managed to do it. But you use a supercharge to go up this incline, and there we go, we're up at the upper level, and as you can see, there's a platform over there with 3 yellow gems. Don't miss them, or you're gonna have to come back for them, and there's a life hidden over there too, which I actually didn't know about until literally just now. So I guess, you know, while this level is pretty linear at the end of the day, they do at least have some of those other elements from, you know, there's always usually that one moment where you gotta think outside the box to... And by the way, those bullets are literally just polygons. They might be flat textures, but they look like, you know, triangle polys to me. You know, primitives is what they're called. I don't know, I've heard primitives used to describe... Oh boy. No, those are fully 3D. Those are like, yeah, those are fully 3D objects. It's kind of interesting. And most games, they would be like 2D little textures that are billboarded and whatnot, but I guess this game, they felt like modeling real, weird-looking... Like, they're not bullets, they're like energy things. I think it's kind of interesting to note that despite the fact that I've had a lot of stupid deaths later on in this game, I still have like over 30 lives. So that just goes to show. There's enough challenge here to keep me entertained in Spyro the Dragon. But, you know, especially with this guy, you know, these guys, this is probably one of the hardest sections in the game right here. Like, if you time your jumps properly, then it's not, but... These are, you know, and obviously it helps to not get knocked back into the, you know, water and stuff. And of course, every time you die, but don't go back to a dragon, then all enemies respawn. I guess these enemies are called Nork Commandos. They have red berets instead of green berets, because I guess, you know, having a green beret on a Nork would be redundant. For some reason that guy didn't turn around to get me. Yeah, just a heads up, you do need to go through the exit portals. Because much like with the unlock criteria for Toasty, if you don't clear the level through the exit portal, then it doesn't count for some reason. Like, you can 100% the level, but if you don't go through the exit portal, then it doesn't count as beating the level. And it's like by the time you get here, literally all you have to do to fight Nasty Nork is get to the exit portal, so technically you could avoid everything else in the level and just beat the stage and you could still beat the game. But, you know, there might be a secret final area for getting all the other stuff. By the way, like I was getting at earlier, Nasty's world is supposed to be the junkyard of the Dragon Realms. As you can see, even the levels come out of weird little dragon faces. So, yeah, I guess, I don't know why Nasty Nork keeps that stuff around, but speaking of the Nork, we're off to face him right now. This is the Nasty Nork boss. And so with all the build-up, actually, I wonder what happens if he hits you with that. Yeah, why isn't he turning me into crystal? He can do that. That's the thing that's been established. Yeah, and if this was our TGX review, we'd spend 30 minutes talking about that, but I'm just asking. Nasty Nork is pretty dumb. I don't know, maybe that's like a character thing. Like, you know how people complain that Kylo Ren got his ass kicked in Force Awakens, and then they make that a plot point in Last Jedi at the beginning. It's not a spoiler, because it's literally right at the beginning of the movie. But, I don't know, if you have any interest in seeing that movie, you should go check it out. I would recommend it, personally. I do know at least one person that really hated it, but... yeah, I'm gonna have to agree to disagree with him on that one. I understand, I just don't agree, that's all I'm saying. That's fine, you know. Oh, I gotta, okay. Yeah, so the gimmick with this level is... basically, it's like every other boss level in this game, you chase people. The first chunk of it, you're chasing thieves who have keys to advance further on into Nasty's lair. Yeah, they keep running away from you, so you gotta catch up with them. It's the usual sort of thief shenanigans that go on in these games. And then once you get them, you get the key, and then you can move on. And that unlocks you further parts of the levels that you can move on, and eventually, for some reason, the second key works on this platform, but the first one doesn't, even though they look the same, but who cares, it's a video game. Now we get to chase down Nasty the Gnorc himself, actually try to fight him, which is why, you know, I may not like Hero's Tale especially. It's an okay game in my opinion, it's not the worst, it's definitely, in a technical sense, a vast improvement over Enter the Dragonfly. But one thing I can credit it for is that the boss fight with Nasty in that game was way better than this. Like I said, I don't really play Spyro for the boss battles, but I'm just saying, as a final boss, this is pretty weak. All you do is chase him. Like in this chunk of the fight, you just chase him. And he can move pretty fast for such a big guy. And there's like a platform at the end of this route, like which we've already seen at this point. And when he reaches the top, he'll stop there and try to cast a spell at you, and that's when you have an opportunity to shoot at him with your flame breath. Yeah, so there he's got on the platform, he hit him, he drops a Prapple gem. By the way, the blue and purple gems swapped colors and values, or rather, they swapped values between games. Did I get the last gem? No, I've got a few more to grab. In this section, it's probably the hardest part of the fight. The platforms retract into the wall, and they literally just contract the polygons of the object instead of like actually pulling it in. And yeah, that's it. That was Nasty Gnorc. That was the final boss. That was pretty pathetic.
Sorry I took so long. I kind of forgot about you.
What about Ganasty Gnorc?
Nasty Gnorc is toast.
So now there's order again in the Dragon Kingdom?
Well, mostly. I've still got some treasure to pick up.
What will you do next?
I'd say the sky's the limit.
Yep. Wonder if I can skip this. No, I've got to sit through the credits. All right, the credits I think play again. Actually, no, they don't. I don't know. If they do play again, we'll skip them the second time. So that we're not quite done yet, but it seems like the best time, as good a time as any to talk about my final thoughts for this game. Craig Stitt. I wonder if there's any relation to Eric Stitt from Klonoa on the Wii. By the way, all 3 Spyro games use the same credits format and the same music for the credits in all 3 games. Like this is the Misty Bog theme from Beastmakers. But yeah, that was Spyro the Dragon, and I think this game is fantastic. It's an excellent 3D platformer for its time that really holds up in all the right ways. It's like, especially with newer collectathons that are coming out nowadays, they all seem to follow this mindset of bigger equals better. Like, especially Yooka-Laylee, but even Hat in Time in a different kind of way, Mario Odyssey. Like, the size of the levels in Mario Odyssey are very reasonable, but in terms of the shit you have to do in them, this game, I find, and I've talked about this a billion times at this point, it's just the pacing. This game is so tightly paced, like, getting through a level only takes like 10 minutes. 100%ing a level, and there's so many levels in this game. There's a very nice, it's, I don't know, it's probably about like, 20-some levels. It feels like a good amount. It feels like the game is as long as it needed to be. And I had never found myself getting bored with it. I always found that collecting things in this game was really satisfying on its own. I really enjoyed trying to find the best routes through stages. I really enjoyed exploring these levels and finding the little hidden areas so that I can finish up with the, so that I can fully complete them. I really like the graphics in this game, all three of these games. Everything really pops, especially since the game has a wider horizontal resolution than most older games on the PlayStation. And the music, while it's not the most memorable soundtrack ever in my opinion, it's not as good as the sequels, I definitely do enjoy the style of it at the very least. And there are those handful of tracks that I find really memorable and enjoyable, so. Spyro the Dragon on the whole is an excellent game, and I would absolutely recommend it, and I'll probably say more after we finish this extra level here, because we've still got more to go.
Nasty's ancient history now. So, what's in there?
I believe this is Nasty's treasure hoard, but the gate will not open until you have found everything in the Dragon Kingdom. Come back when you have reached 100%.
And the good news for us, we've reached 100%. So all that remains is Nasty's loot, friends. And what's really nice about the Spyro trilogy is that you always get a final stage for reaching 100%. Just kind of a last hurrah for the game to kind of, throw the last couple challenges at you and make you feel like you've really accomplished something. And Spyro 1 is no exception with Nasty's loot. And one of the most interesting things about this stage is that, compared to the other stages in this game and the other final stages in the later games, is you get basically like a super flight power-up throughout the entire stage. I don't know why Spyro has that. They don't really explain it. I think it's supposed to be like, either the air around here is magical and he could fly like in flight stages, or maybe defeating Nasty Nork gave him the confidence he needed to fly, but only in this level. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. It's just kind of a fun, quirky little gameplay thing. Man, my computer is going crazy for some reason, and it really shouldn't be because the Elgato is supposed to be doing all the encoding for it. I know what's going on. I installed this driver for my other capture card earlier today, and it has this weird glitch that shoots your CPU usage up to 100% for no reason. I thought I uninstalled it and fixed that problem, but evidently not. So I get to go figure that out after this recording session's done and over with. But enough shop talk. So what's kind of fun in a platforming sense about this level is as you can see, Spyro can fly as high as whatever platform he last reached. So the highest platform we reached is about this high, so this is as high as you can glide. So as you grab gems and keys and unlock paths further up into the level, you can glide higher and higher and reach different parts of the stage. So it's, in terms of, again, that 3D game design coming through, how masterfully crafted these levels are for 3D. This is another case where they really make you think outside the box for the whole stage. It's a very creatively designed level, in my opinion. And of course, we have more thieves to catch because the post game in this game cannot get enough of the thieves. And I'm actually having trouble catching this one. Usually I can get them pretty quick, but yeah, there we have the key, so now we can move on to the next level. But first, before we do that, got some gems to collect. I don't know, there's something about, you know, usually, you know, 30 frames are is obviously not as smooth as 60. But this game does have a certain smoothness to it. Regardless, despite that, that's hard to describe, I don't know. And we just let that guy out of his cage. So that's a thief and one of the biplanes you've seen earlier. Basically what we gotta do with them is just catch up, and once we kill them, we get the key. And the rest of the thieves in this level are like that too. It goes in kind of a weird pattern. Obviously now we can fly up to this area over here and shoot down those firecrackers. So we'll do that real quick before moving on to the thief itself. Okay, I don't know how that happened, but that was definitely interesting. I destroyed another one of those earlier, didn't I? So where did it go? Well, there are other ones we can't reach yet, so I guess we're gonna have to go after the thief next. And he's just barely out of reach, so we're gonna have to head him off over here. And he does go in a set pattern, so eventually, okay, I guess this is where the other rocket went, is over here, so we'll go grab those real quick. Eventually he'll fly underneath the pipes there, and that's probably your best time to head him off and kick his arse, give him a good flamin'. There he is. Okay, so he's gonna loop around again, and then when he comes back, he's gonna go under. And then at least fly low enough for you, or he's supposed to do it anyway. Otherwise, you can't really reach him, which is kind of annoying. That he's just like barely out of reach the whole time. Okay, so he does fly low enough over here, so I guess that's where we gotta head him off. Ugh. Fuck, man. Alright, let's see if we can catch up to him. There he is, he went underneath. I don't know what I did differently there to trigger that, but whatever. Now we can open up this gate over here and get that extra bit higher in the stage. I don't know, Nasty's loop might be my favorite final level in the trilogy. Just because it's, you know, I like how tightly designed it is. It's not like super bonus round where it goes on kind of a bit too long, and it's not like Dragon Shores where it's too short or anything. It's just right. I really like this creative sort of gimmick of you have to keep getting to higher platforms so that you can glide farther and stuff like that. That was pretty creative. It's a nice little reward for grabbing everything else in the game because it's such a unique stage. All right, we got all of those gems, so now we can go back over and get that last thief, who I always have trouble with. There's something weird to it where like you have to follow it through like twice, and then it will let you catch it. And if you don't follow it at first, then it won't reappear until you go try to, you know, rubber band after it, I guess. It's really weird. So we'll head on up over here, and by the time we get back, Thief should be here. So you gotta make sure that you follow him, because he is deceptively fast, and yeah, like he's already way outpacing us somehow, and I don't really know how. Damn, guys. And just in case you're wondering, you're not allowed to go like the other way and try to hit him off that way. That doesn't work. The AI is like too smart for that. He'll just respawn back at the platform where he starts. Alright, better focus on this. I'm feeling good about this one. I don't know, I swear there's some kind of weird element to it. Where like you have to do it a couple times before he'll slow down enough that you can actually catch him. It's really weird. I've never understood how like when I do win, it just kind of feels like a weird stroke of luck, if that makes any sense. There's something to the way that guy is programmed, I don't know what, but we got him. So now we can go up over here to this door here. and just 1 gem, but this is your final test. You've been thinking creatively up to this point to get this far. Hey look, there was a planet up in the sky. That's cute. As you can see, there's the exit portal, and we've got one last little room over here with a whole bunch of purple gems in it to rock our socks off with. Rock out with our socks off. And we have this lovely portrait of Gnasty Gnorc here, which does actually look pretty good. It looks like they put several textures together to make him, so it looks really nice. It's like 128 by 128. I do appreciate that. It's, I don't know. That's it. That's it. We have fully completed Spyro the Dragon. All that's left is to enter this portal.
Spyro the Dragon, you've defeated Gnasty Gnorc, collected the dragon eggs, saved all the dragons, and recovered every bit of treasure in the Dragon Kingdom. How do you feel?
I feel fired up, Bob. And I'm happy for the dragon world, of course. I certainly wouldn't want to spend the rest of my dragon days butting heads with Gnasty Gnorc and his weird minions.
What's a minion?
Never mind. You know what they say. For every good battle, you need a good adversary. And I felt that Gnasty, in spite of his misguided nature, was a worthy opponent. Uh-oh. Here we go again!
And yeah, in case if you're wondering who turned the dragons back into crystal or what happened there, it's never explained in the second game, so I don't know, maybe Gnasty Gnorc survived the battle and just hated hearing Spyro make fun of him again. Or maybe there was some other villain that did that. Who knows? It's just meant to be like a cute little joke, but yeah, I guess they do play the credits again for no reason. Spyro the Dragon is a fantastic collectathon game. I would recommend it, but like I was saying earlier in the playthrough, I think that if you're new to the series, your best place to start is definitely Spyro 2. Not necessarily because I think it's the best game of the three, or that I think it's better than the first game, but I do think it's a lot more accessible. I think Spyro the Dragon 1 is a game that's only really gonna please fans of the completionist genre in general. Even though I think it's, you know, in terms of, because, you know, there's usually this divide between challenge-based platformers where it's like an obstacle course you beat, and collectathons where it's more about exploring the stage and finding all there is to see. I feel like Spyro the Dragon manages to kind of take the best elements of both and create something that's very tightly focused that I think is going to appeal more to people than something like, say, if you're someone who really likes challenge-based platformers and doesn't get collectathons, I think you're more likely to appreciate Spyro the Dragon than you are Banjo-Kazooie, for example, because of how much more focused and straightforward and tightly paced the level design is. But despite that, I do think that because of how this game is just about collecting things and doesn't really have the same mini-games or amount of variety as the sequels, that's why I think Spyro 2 is a more accessible starting point. I recommend all 3 games in this series, or in the original trilogy rather, but I do think that Spyro 1 is probably the least accessible. It's the one where you kind of already have to be a fan of the genre to really enjoy it. So I recommend starting out with Spyro 2, and if you like that, going back to Spyro 1. And I don't know, in some ways that kind of makes Spyro 1 harder to digest and understand, but still. I think this is a great game. I like the graphics, I like the music, I especially like the level design. That's really well done. I like how tightly paced it is. And what can I say? It's just a joy to 100% again and again and again and again. So if you have played the sequels and haven't played the first one, I recommend it. Go check it out. If you're new to the series, start with Spyro 2 and then come back to this one. And ironically, that's what I'd recommend with the GBA games as well. Start with Season of Flame, then play Season of Ice, and you'll appreciate it a lot more. It's kind of a weird how much they parallel each other in that way, but, you know. So, as for what comes next, I say, why stop a good thing when it's a good thing? I don't know. I feel like I butchered that saying. There is a saying that sounds like that. Why change horses in the middle of a race? There you go. In the next episode, or I'm sorry, the next playthrough we're gonna do is gonna be Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage, also for the Sony PlayStation, which is another excellent game that I enjoy. I'm looking forward to playing that for you guys as well. Join me next time for Spyro 2, and until then, I'll see you guys next time.